guys, today I'm going to be talking about The House of Hades, book 4 of the Heroes of Olympus series by Riordan, and I just finished this book. It was so amazing, just like every other book that I've ever read by him. So this is going to be a book discussion. This is not going to be, it's book 4 of a series. I can't really tell you about it without giving spoilers. It's pretty much impossible for me to do. So if you have not read this, please go. You have to read the Percy Jackson series. You have to read the other 3 books in the series. This series is so amazing. This is the 9th book that I have read by Riordan, and all 9 of the books are 5 stars. They're all amazing. They're so good. I've already done reviews over The Lost Hero, The Son of Neptune, and The Mark of Athena, so if you missed those reviews, I'll put links below. But they are all so good, and I cannot wait for the 5th book. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, please go if you haven't read it, because there's going to be a lot of spoilers, and I don't want to spoil you on this. Just trust me, read it. It's amazing. I could go on and on and on about this book, and I wish I could just like open the book and just talk about every chapter pretty much, because I feel like every chapter is so exciting and there's something to talk about throughout like the entire book. However, I'm going to try and condense this and just pick and pull out a few of my favorite parts and just a few of the parts that really brought out like the most of emotions. I feel like I can do this because this weekend I'm going to actually be participating in a live book discussion with other booktubers, and we're going to be talking about this book in detail, and you guys will have a chance to come as well and watch, and you can leave comments and questions, and we can all kind of discuss together. You guys can talk about your favorite parts, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be a blast. At this point in time, it is Friday night is the time we're going to do the live chat, and it's going to be Friday. It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern time. Just follow me on Twitter, because I'll be posting for sure, closer to the day, and then I'll be posting exactly like when we're going live. But it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be PolandBananasBooks. It's going to be Katytastic. It's going to be TheBookTuber. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for it. Basically, if I don't talk about every little thing that happened, it's okay, because I'm going to be talking about it probably for over an hour on Friday night. So it's all going to work out, and eventually everything will be discussed, and it's going to be awesome. So I got this from Barnes & Noble, as you can see. It has this sticker on the front. I need to take that off. I just haven't yet. And it came with this awesome map, and it's the map of Tartarus, and it's pretty cool. It's got like all these monsters, and it just looks cool. And then there's the doors of death, and it shows the rivers, and there's the Draken Swamp, and it just looks really cool. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I like it. At the end of Mark of Athena, Percy and Annabeth have fallen into Tartarus, and then they're obviously separated from the rest of the group, the 7. So I was really happy at how much Percy and Annabeth we got in this book. Just every chapter, you know how Riordan splits up the chapters by different POVs? Throughout the series so far, I've been doing pretty good about like being okay with the current POV, and I wasn't like trying to rush through to get to anyone else, because he does a good job at like kind of keeping, like holding your attention. Even if it's just like a little minor quest they're going on, it's like, he does a good job. But in this book, I just wanted to keep skipping ahead to Percy and Annabeth, because I just really wanted to know what was happening, and it was just so intense. I mean, they're in Tartarus. I mean, it was just so awful, but I just wanted more. It's so disgusting how they were literally like on the body of Tartarus, and there were these like pus-filled like bubbles of monsters that are like regrowing, and it made me think of the Lord of the Rings when the orcs are like growing and they're like in this sack of, oh, it was really gross. I love Bob so much. I am so happy they have Bob. If they wouldn't have had Bob, they would have died for sure. He is so amazing. I love Small Bob. I will call him Small Bob, said Bob. He is a good monster. And then it's like, end of discussion. I love that he stayed with him until the end, and then he like changes into this like saber-toothed tiger. It's so cool. Basically, that was all thanks to Nico though, because Nico was the one that went back and became friends with Bob and reminded Bob, Percy's a great guy, you should be friends with him, and all this stuff. If it wouldn't have been for Nico, they wouldn't have had Bob, they would have died. And so basically, I think the moral of the story is to always be friends with everyone. and to be nice to people and to make an effort and to not forget them and Hades as a janitor. Don't forget them. Like, didn't you see Iron Man 3? Don't leave them on the rooftop. It's gonna come back and bite you in the butt. Be nice to everyone. That's the moral. But basically, Percy and Annabeth went through so much stuff, and it wasn't even that much fighting, like physically. So much of it was through just like their will to live and just like having each other. And I felt like, you know, so many times they would like look to one another, and I'm so happy they had each other. Or it definitely could have gone a totally different route. They really used their brains, and Annabeth got them out of a lot of situations. Some of them, or so many of them, were so like comical because it's like really all the monsters are so stupid. Like it's like they act like they were just born yesterday. And the things that Annabeth says to get out of stuff, like when they're with Knight and they're talking about how she wasn't in the brochure, and then Percy's like going along with it, and it's just like, what? I guess it's because so many of the gods and like minor gods and goddesses they find and stuff, they're so full of themselves, and I guess it just works because they just think so highly of themselves that if you insult them, I guess they just want to prove it. And they're all just so arrogant that it works, I guess. None of them are humble. So it's pretty smart thinking on Annabeth's side. I think one of the worst parts was like when they were going through like with all the curses and Percy and Annabeth, like Annabeth lost her sight, and I got really scared because I tried to picture like, think about how bad it has been to this point, and now Annabeth can't see. I love that they meet the peaceful giant, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, and his story was so sad, how he was such a disgrace to his mom and his dad because he was so peaceful, and how all he wanted to do was just tend to his sheep and just grow plants and stuff in the garden. What was his punishment? You want to tend to your sheep? Okay, bam, you're in Tartarus. Can't leave your swamp. You have to kill this dragon every single day. What kind of parents are they? Obviously really bad ones. I was hoping that when Annabeth told him that they needed him, that he was gonna show up later, but I actually forgot about him. So when Tartarus showed up, like in physical form, I actually forgot, and so when he came in, like, I changed my mind, Annabeth. I was so excited because I didn't know what was gonna happen. When Tartarus showed up in physical form, just blew everything away. Up until that point, everything was going pretty good. You know, like, I mean, not really good, but as good as it could be in Tartarus, basically, because they had Bob and Small Bob. So I saw a lot of people were talking on, like, a few comments on Twitter, but a lot of it, like, I was on other people's book discussions, and I saw in YouTube comments that people were talking about the whole misery scene and how Percy was torturing her and stuff. I didn't even think of that when I was reading it. I just thought, Percy and Annabeth are in Tartarus. They need to do whatever they need to do to get out of Tartarus. They do not belong there. They are not immortal. They are not monsters. They don't belong there. They need to get out. It was Misery's fault for even bringing up the poison in the first place. It's not Percy's fault that he was trying to defend himself, and he was trying to defend Annabeth and try and get them out of this situation, and I think she deserved to die. And I think all the monsters deserve to die. So people were freaking out saying that Percy is going to turn into Luke and that he's like a bad guy and he'll never be the same now. And I did not think that at all. So I don't know. Obviously he's not going to be the same. He went through Tartarus. Just like Nico and Annabeth. They're not going to be the same. But I don't think it changed like his heart and that he's going to just start like torturing people now. So I like Nico, but he's definitely been kind of like an outsider. Obviously, like the entire series, you never really get like a good grasp on him. You don't really know what to think of him, but I've always liked him. I felt bad for him many times, and you know, I wish that he would have found like a friend, and I wish he still had a sister and lots of things like that. The whole scene with Cupid, and it was a little confusing, and then I started realizing that maybe he loved Percy, and it was just kind of blew my mind because I did not see that coming. I don't know if you guys saw that coming, but I did not. So definitely, I don't know what's going to happen with that whole situation in the 5th book. I don't know what's going to happen because obviously there's some bitterness, like when Nico kind of just dismissed Percy at the end of the book. Obviously he's not totally over it, and he's forgiven, and he's just got a lot of stuff, you know. He went through Tartarus alone. His sister's dead. He's a son of Hades, so that right there just kind of puts like a thing on him. Like, just, He's gone through a lot. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I wish him all the best. I hope that he finds someone. I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully, you know, at the end of the book when he says he's going to go off with Raina and Coach Hedge, I wish them all the best of luck. I don't think it's going to be probably like easy sailing and that they're just going to go without any bit of trouble. It's a huge statue, but I hope that he can do it, and I hope he can. I hope he finds someone. Frank and Hazel were amazing in this book. Frank got the blessing of Mars, and he gets like, he's like glowing a couple different times in the book, like with the whole thing with like the cow thing, and he like destroys all of them, and he like saves the day, and he like saves Nico and Hazel. That was awesome. And then he like grows more into himself, and he's like got like a growth spurt, and he's just like bigger and more powerful, and he's just like so much more of a leader now, and I love all of this development that he's gone through in this series. It's insane if you compare like where he started till now. And then of course the ending with like the ghost like Roman soldiers, and he's like directing them, and that was so cool that he was the one that stepped up and he was the one that did it. I was so proud of him. He like gets shot in the arm and he just keeps going, like no big deal, not a big deal at all. Hazel was amazing, how she learned to like control the mist, and it was so, I didn't know how she was going to do that, and it was kind of cool how Piper and her bonded, and Piper said it's kind of like charm speak, and how it's, you know, kind of similar and like working to what they want kind of thing. The whole thing with like the turtle and like the pirate guy, and then just with Jason, that was all so cool, and Hazel really kicked butt in this book. I mean, she kind of always has. I love how, you know, she finally beats the sorceress person at the end, and then there's like the doors of death, and then, you know, the 7 come in and they just like kick butt, and it's all amazing. But I really want to talk about Leo. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay, so I got so excited in this book. With all the scenes, I've always loved Leo, and I've always like felt bad for him, kind of like Nico, because he's like on the outside. I just want him to be happy, and I just want him to like find someone, but it's a quest of 7. There's 7 people, so he's obviously alone. And it made me sad. I really like him. He's so funny. He's got such a sad past, but I love him. I love him, I love him. And when he got flown off into the air, I was so stressed out. And when he lands on the island, I knew instantly where he was, and I was like, oh no, what is gonna happen? And once Calypso basically finds out like who it was, and she starts like yelling at the gods, like, are you kidding me? You sent me him and all this stuff. I knew it was gonna be okay, because I knew she wasn't gonna love him, because he was not the normal Percy, Jason type kind of thing. And so I knew it wasn't going to be like a normal situation. And I thought he was going to break the spell somehow. Whenever the raft didn't come, I knew it was going to be different. I knew he wouldn't just immediately sail off. I knew it. That was the cutest part of the book. I loved it so much. I love their scenes. I was hoping, so hoping, that they were going to like fall in love, and it was going to be so cute, and I'm so glad that they did. And I love how she like brought him his like old clothes and like the army looking jacket, and how they were like fireproof, which is so cool. And then Leo, being the nice guy he is, has her make a bag for Frank so he can hide the stick, and it's like fireproof, and that's awesome. And you know, he's just so selfless, and he's so nice, and I love it. I love that Calypso starts wearing like jeans and like just a white tee, and she starts helping him on the beach. I love that Leo at times was saying like, oh, she's so beautiful, but I mean, but she's annoying. And I wish we had more, and I wish we had more. And then whenever he said he had a week left, and they're standing on the beach, and the raft comes, and oh, it was so cute, and I loved it. And then it was so sad. I've never been so happy and so sad, because I was so happy that the raft came, which meant Calypso and her feelings, and someone thought that about Leo. It's so great. But then he had to leave, and oh, he swore that oath, and it's scary because it says in the prophecy that an oath to keep with a final breath is, I believe, how it's worded. And that's scary, because I don't want Leo ever to have a final breath, and I don't want him to ever have one. But I don't know. I believe he's going to save her one way or another, and they're gonna open their shop, and it's gonna be so cute, and I'm just so excited, and I can't wait. The ending was amazing. I love that it worked out. Obviously, both sides got to the doors of death, and everything was so good. So good. And I like that it wasn't an awful cliffhanger like in the Mark of Athena, and that we got this like somewhat closure, and there's still such big things going on with Gaia and the giants, and I know that, and I know the whole Roman and Greek camp thing, I know all of that, but it's just nice to have them mostly all together, and Percy and Annabeth are not in Tartarus, which is so nice. The saddest thing is Bob and Small Bob and the peaceful giant that I don't know how to say his name. You just know, and it's just so sad because they sacrificed themselves, and it's just, I hope to see them again. I hope that something happens and like they come back or something, I don't know, but I'm hoping. And at the end, when he's like, he looks up at the stars and he's like, Bob says hi, and it's over, and it's so sad. Oh, I love Bob so much. I love him. I loved him. So that's all. I know this was a lot, but I know I talked a lot. I know I said a lot of things, but if I left off stuff, it's because I'm going to talk about it on Friday's discussion. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to see you there. Leave me comments of your favorite parts, your favorite characters. Did you love Bob and Small Bob too? Of course you did. Let me know what you thought, and what maybe if you have like some predictions for the Blood of Olympus, maybe. I'm going to go. Please leave me your comment. See you guys later. Bye.